your name is interesting. What's your background, your family's background?
Well, it's hyphenated because when they were married, my parents were married in Canada, and for some reason there was some complication with my mom, or probably my mom didn't want to take my dad's name and she never wanted to tell it to me that way, but for whatever reason, one half of the name is Polish, and recently we got a call from some woman who was tracking all the Globuses, and apparently there were like 3 big European Globus, all Jewish and probably all from one common place, obviously, but there was like a Polish one and a variety of others. So that's where the Globus is from. Hoenich is on my dad's side, and it's like a Viennese. My grandfather, his family was from Vienna, Jews.
But you grew up in Canada?
Well, until I was 7, then I moved to Boston, and so I started playing music, and most of my like social life was in Boston. Then I came here 4 years ago for college.
Did you do the like the New England Conservatory preparatory school and all that?
I did that for jazz, and I did the Greater Boston Youth Symphony for my orchestra stuff, which was at BU. How do you know about that?
Well, my brother used to be the head of the jazz department at New England Conservatory. This is like now in the early 80s, in the 80s. And,
of the school or the prep?
No, in the school.
Oh, wow, cool.
So, and he went to the school before that, so I used to visit it when I was a kid, and so I wanted to go there, kind of, but he was teaching there, so it wouldn't have been ethically
really
cool. So I went to Eastman, which ended up being great. But
did you study with John Beck?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. So you did both classical and jazz?
No, I just did classical. At Eastman at that time, there was a graduate program in jazz, but not an undergraduate program. So a lot of people would go to Eastman and officially study classical music and then do jazz like on the side. So I did the jazz thing on the side, and then I stayed 1 more year, and I taught some drum set, and I got a master's in jazz composition.
Okay.
Yeah, there were so many good players there that were like those guys that just naturally great, and I just kind of kept the classical like at a certain level, and then I got it to a certain level, and then just kept it there.
Right.
So what made you apply for the residency here?
Well, I first heard about it at the Claudia Quintet show, and Lenny was talking to one of my teachers, Tony Maselli, who's this vibes player in town. He's sort of like one of the local like jazz guru teachers, and Patty studies with him, and I studied with him a bunch because he would do like classes at Curtis on like very basic jazz stuff. And so I thought that this was going to be geared at older players, and I didn't realize the diversity that Lenny and you were looking for. So then when I got the letter from Lenny about it, and I realized that maybe like this would be great for me, because just out of school I just had this crazy experience at Curtis, like where I was really butting heads with what they were trying to get me to do, and I really wasn't into classically what they were shoving down our throats. Like there's so much great contemporary classical music that I would have been much more interested in if I hadn't learned about that only in my senior year, if that had been shown to me earlier. And at the same time, jazz-wise, I had very recently discovered a lot of a scene of players in New York that I was really into, like Drew Gress, Ted Poore, Tyshawn, Vijayar, all these guys that were playing jazz like in a much more interesting way than just sort of like bebop and just what Philly seemed to be offering at that time. So when I saw the residency, and I knew the guys who were going to be applying to this, like some people that I've played with, like Matt Davis and Brian Howell and stuff, I saw this as a great chance to sort of like expose the stuff I've been thinking about and trying to shed on my own to some of these other Philly players, and also to like get input from you and try to like, learn how your process for like putting together that band, which instrumentation, like having a vibraphone and drums and a lot of percussion is obviously like the road that I'm looking to head down, because I play a lot with Patty and whatnot. And I thought it would be a great opportunity to focus in a lot of these ideas that have been exposed to me and circulating in my brain. And I don't know if that makes some sense.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
And I also am really interested in sort of expanding my palette of like found noises and like sort of stuff I've seen you and like Jim Black do with like a lot of odd instruments and bowing, and sort of getting my ears more open to those sounds so that I hear them when I'm improvising, when I'm playing. My name's Gabe Globus-Hoenich, and I play a wide variety of percussion instruments.
Bookmark this page and tune in often, as new clips will be added regularly.